So here we are. The NBA season starts up in a couple days, and I have decided I'm going to make my top 50 NBA player tier list video. Yeah, we have a pool of NBA players that we're going to rank into the top 50. We have not top 50, and then we have 36 to 50. We're going to do this into tiers, as you can obviously see here. There's about 83 players here, so a lot will be left off this list. Now, this is just my subjective opinion. I would really appreciate it if you drop a thumbs up on this video, because I feel like a lot of people are going to dislike it if I have their player not in the tier that they would want them to be. And hey, if that is true, there probably will be a player. This isn't 100% accurate. This is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you disagree with that I had in the tier list. And if you do enjoy tier list videos, on my second channel, I have done my tier list for point guards, shooting guards, and small forwards. At the moment I'm recording this, my top 30 duos in the NBA, I have ranked that in a tier list. My all-stars for next year tier list, so go check that out. Link to that is in the description if you enjoy tier list videos. So this is going to be my top 50 players right now going into the 2021 season. This is going to be tough. We're going to go through each player, and it's going to be tough. Like I said, I don't know where I'm going to have players. I'm probably going to like throw like Chris Paul in 21 to 25, and then at the end of the video he could end up here, he could end up here. Like at the end of the video it'll be my full final tier list. So let me see. Let me start off with the players I know where they will go. So, like, give me LeBron James. Like, obviously we know he's my number one player, but he'll be in the 1 to 5 tier list. Other players that will be in that number or 1 to 5 tier list, let me just find out where they are since there's so many. So, Kawhi will be in that tier. Let me find Mr. two-time MVP. See, like, I'm trying to look for Giannis. I can't find Giannis. There he is. So, let's get Giannis in 1 to 5. Now, I have 2 other spots. I think I have it down. I think I have it down at the moment. Now, there's going to be reasoning for this, and I'm going to explain it when I have it fully set. So let me get the 2 other players in here. All right, so here's the first couple of names that I want to talk about. Like, LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, AD, and Curry will be 1 to 5, and KD will be number 6. Just that is not in order, the 1 through 5. That is just my top 5. If I were to order it, it'd probably go LeBron 1, Kawhi 2. Honestly, it would probably be like this in order. I would maybe go with, I don't know. The reason KD is not in 1 to 5 is because of his injury. Now, if he was fully healthy, I think he's the second best player in the NBA. I'm just a little wary, as he's looked good in the preseason, just how he's going to do throughout this regular season, how he's going to be playing in big minute games. Like, can he play 35 minutes plus consistently, especially when that playoff time comes? Is he going to be a little bit rusty? That's why I have him at 6. Normally, I would have him number 2. He was my second best player. Honestly, I thought after the 2018 finals and throughout the 2019 season when Golden State lost to Toronto, he was the best player in basketball. But with the Achilles, which is probably the worst injury you can get that you're going to come back from in the NBA, that's not going to make you retire. But it's made people retire in the past. So that's why I have KD at 6. Not because of his talent, just of the injury concern. Okay, so here is my 6 to 10. I already mentioned KD and that I would have him in the top 5. But the injury puts him at 6. Now we got, in order, I would probably order it as follows as probably this. This would be the order: KD, Harden, Luka, Jokic, Lillard. Now, Harden, you might dislike him. What he's been doing off the court has been pretty frustrating for a lot of people, that he's been kind of not going into Rockets camp fully. He's been partying. But at the end of the day, he's one of the best pure scorers in the NBA. He's been a top 10 player for the last 5 years, and he is a MVP winner. He should have won multiple, in my opinion. He is coming in at number 7. Luka at 8. This dude is what? 21, 22 years old, and he's already top 10. It's literally absurd how good he is, but I predicted him to win MVP this year, so I'm very high on Luka Doncic, and I think he's that good. Jokic, what he's done, he's been to 1 Western Conference Finals last year. He almost went in 2019 when they lost to Portland. He is, in my opinion, the best center in basketball. Not by a lot, but he is. If you're counting AD as a 4, if AD was a 5, then yeah, he's the best center. And then Lillard right after him. Lillard and Jokic were pretty close to rank, but it ended up going with Lillard just behind Jokic. I mean, you're splitting hairs at that point. If you're in the same tier, you can put him wherever you want, so don't get too mad at me that I had Jokic in front of Lillard. I would be fine with Lillard in front of Jokic, but Lillard, probably the second best pure point guard in basketball if you're not counting Luka and LeBron as point guards. Either way, he's coming in at my second tier, 6 to 10. All right, guys, I have my tier 3 figured out. Honestly, yeah, no, this is in order. So Jimmy Butler coming in at number 11 was definitely a riser from last year, as he played phenomenal in the playoffs, was the best player on the best Eastern Conference team this year as he led the Milwaukee Bucks going to the NBA Finals. He's coming in at number 11. Now, Joelle Embiid at number 12. I wouldn't say Joelle Embiid is underrated. I just think people don't talk about him enough as one of the elite players in basketball. He's coming in number 12, the second center, third or fourth big man on this list, depending on where you count Giannis and AD. But Embiid is an incredible defender. He's really good in the post. On the offensive end, he is just so dominant inside. Now, I do think he should take less jumpers, and I'm hoping Doc Rivers makes him more of a post big, more than like somebody that spots up three. Yeah, he can take his threes, but I feel like Brett Brown really never coached him properly on that. And honestly, the Celtics swept the Sixers, but 2 of those 4 games were pretty close, and Embiid balled out in those games, and they didn't have Ben Simmons. So that series could have gone a lot different if they had Ben Simmons. Embiid coming in at number 12. 13, we have Chris Paul. He's somebody that I do not think will be in the top 15 at the end of the year. I think we'll see a slight regression from Chris Paul, but I still think he's one of the best players in basketball on what he's done last year for the Thunder, leading that team, who a lot of people thought they weren't making the playoffs, to a playoff series, and ended up pushing the Rockets to 7 games. Now, Jason Tatum is going to actually come in at 15. I'm actually going to swap that. He's going to come in at 15, and I think he could be up maybe where Jimmy Butler is at the end of the year. I think Jason Tatum is one of the fastest rising players in the NBA. He's an incredible two-way player. He's good on the defensive end. He's good on the offensive end. He's an incredible pull-up shooter, spot-up shooter, off the dribble. The only thing I would like to see him improve on is his attacking the rim field goal percentage. I feel like he does take a lot of contact layups or gets to the rim a lot throughout the game and just doesn't finish sometimes. So if he can get better on that, man, I think he's going to be close to a 30-point per game score very soon. And then Kyrie will be there. I don't know. Maybe I'm debating this. You know what? I'll put Kyrie there just for injury purposes. But when healthy, Kyrie Irving is one of the best point guards in basketball. He's the best ball handler in the NBA, in my opinion. He's, I would say, an underrated passer. Yes, he's not great on the defensive end, and he's probably one of the worst defenders in this top 15. Him, probably Luka are the two and like Lillard aren't great on the defensive end, but still what Kyrie Irving does on the offensive end can't go unnoticed. He's coming in the top 15. Now, I figured out my next tier of players. I think I like how this format is going. Maybe I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna have Russ in front of Paul George. Russ obviously hasn't been able to do anything in the playoffs as a number 1 on his team, or much in the last couple of years, being in OKC and Houston, and now he's going to be in Washington this year. And I think they'll make the playoffs, but Russ, now, if you just stop taking outside jumpers, because that is not his forte whatsoever, he would just be probably looked at as a way better player. He's still good on the defensive end. He's still one of the more athletic players in basketball, and his just athleticism is so explosive when he gets to the rim. He could just turn it up like that, especially in the transition. He's one of the more lethal players in the NBA still. He's great at attacking the rim. He's great passer, phenomenal passer. Like I said, still solid on D. He's coming in at 16. Paul George right behind him at 17. He has dropped off definitely this year. I had him in the top 10 last year, probably around 9 or 10, and now he's at 17 from what he did in the playoffs. Let's see if he can have a good playoffs this year and a solid regular season. He could be an all-star, maybe still even be an all-NBA guy. That's what he was just 2 years ago in OKC, a top 5 MVP guy. I don't think he'll be a top 5 guy like that, but I still think he could be a top 20 player in basketball, and we'll see what he can do for the Clippers in the playoffs this year. Clay, it's unfortunate we're not going to see Clay for 2 full years. This was literally, it heartbroke me. It literally heartbroke me when Clay got injured for this year, because I was so excited to see the Splash Brothers and have 3 elite teams in the Western Conference, because at the end of the day, you pretty much have 2 elite teams on paper, the Lakers and the Clippers, but with Clay healthy, I think they would have been just as elite as the Clippers. So it really sucks that he got hurt. But when healthy, he's the second best shooter in basketball. He's an incredibly good defender. He knows his role, and he's just phenomenal at it. Cat coming at, I don't know. Do I have Cat or Simmons? You know what? I'll give it to Simmons because it is a two-way game. I saw a stat that even though Ben Simmons doesn't take threes, he's still one of the best in the NBA at points per possession because he does everything. Honestly, almost elite besides outside shooting. He's an elite defender on the perimeter and in the post. He can guard, honestly, 1-5s really well. He's elite in transition. He's elite at attacking the rim. He's elite at passing. He's elite at rebounding. He's literally a complete player besides the outside shooting. And if he honestly had a good jumper, he would be in the top 10. Probably. But with that, he's coming in at 19. And then Cat, even though we've only seen 1 playoff series from Cat, he's still not a great rim protector as a 5 and a defender overall. What he does on the offensive end as a center can't go unnoticed. He's going to crack the top 20 for me going into the 2021 season. Here's my next wave of players, 21 to 25. Now, Mitchell coming in at 21. He's led the Jazz to 2 straight playoff runs, correct? Or maybe even 3. Yeah, no, it might be 3, actually. I'm sorry. The reason I have him over Booker is because he's a decent amount, or he's definitely a better defender than Booker. I think Booker is slightly a better offensive player. Actually, he's the better offensive player. I would say that with confidence. But I think the gap between Booker and Mitchell's offense is a lot smaller than the range of Mitchell's defense and Booker's defense. So that was the reasoning I had Mitchell over Booker, but I think they're very similar, and they're going to be compared throughout each other for pretty much throughout their careers. And then two players that are pretty comparable is Bam and Rudy Gobert. Now, the reasons for Bam over Gobert is he's a better playmaker, good passer, way better of a ball handler, somebody you could trust with the ball in their hands in the half court, making a dribble. Gobert doesn't really do much ball handling when he's in the half court. It's really up to the point guards and the ball handlers and the playmakers getting him the ball inside the paint. So the reason I ended up giving Gobert the slight edge over Adebayo is his 2 Defensive Player of the Years. Bam is a great defender. Man, I still think about his block over Tatum in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I'm going to give the slight edge to the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. And Kyle Lowry, somebody I think who's been underrated for the last couple years. Now, pure scoring, like flashiness, yeah, you'd probably have Kemba Walker and Trey Young and maybe John Morant in front of Kyle Lowry, but what he does as a leader, as a defender, as a shooter, and just still as a passer and offensive player, he is coming in at 25. He's a better defender than those other 3-point guards that I did mention, and he's slightly better than those guys, I think, in my eyes, and he's going to crack the top 25 on my list. Now, we have a pretty big tier, wow, I can't even speak, here next, 26 to 35. Let me figure this out. So here is my 26 to 35 tier. These guys you could make a save for 21 to 25. That's pretty much why I did this in tiers. Because if somebody is 6 to 10, you could make a case for 1 to 5. Or if somebody is 11 to 15, you can make a case for 6 to 10. That's why I like doing this in tiers. So Pascal Ciaco was somebody I was like, which Raptor do I put at 25, Lowry or Siakam? I gave the slight edge to Lowry just because he's been better for a little bit longer. Bradley Beal, hey, if he was somewhat good on defense, the man would be probably top 20. But the fact that he is a liability right now on the defensive end, maybe he just didn't try as much last year because they weren't really good. He didn't have his second best player, John Wall, and maybe he just didn't try because he was really bad on defense last year. But what he does on the offensive end, got to put him in the top 30. Trey Young, it was between kind of like Trey, Beal, and Kemba Walker, those 3. I was like, who do I put at 1 and who do I put at 3? I ended up going Trey kind of after Beal. Amazing passer, amazing shooter. Boy, his defense is not very good. Like, if him and Beal were good at defense, I would have no problem putting them in top 25 and the tier above them, but just them not being good on defense drops them a little bit because it is a two-way sport. Kemba Walker is a better defender than Trey Young and Beal, but I think, honestly, Trey Young and Beal are just better on offense. So I think the difference between Kemba and those 2 on defense and those 2 to Kemba on offense is pretty similar. So you can kind of order them however you want. And that's what I mean. In tiers, like in my 6 to 10, in my 26 to 35, you can order them however you want. And I'd be okay with that. If you had Kemba in front of Trey and Beal, boy, I wouldn't mind that at all. I'd have just put some order down. So that is the order I came up with. Kristaps Porzingis drops a little bit. I would normally have him probably at the end of the tier above, but with his injuries and you don't know how healthy he's going to stay throughout the year, is going to come in at number, that would be what, 30, correct? 27, 28, 29. That would be 31. Jaylen Brown at 32. 2 Celtics there. That is the 3rd Celtic on the list. That is the most on a team currently, correct? 2 Lakers. We got 2 Nets. 2 Sixers, 2 Warriors, 2 Jazz. Yeah, we got 3 Celtics so far. Brandon Ingram coming right behind Jaylen Brown. I think Ingram could be better than Jaylen Brown at the end of the year. I just think Jaylen Brown's just been in that tier or just as a top 50 guy a little bit longer than Brandon Ingram, 2 guys from the 2016 class, but I have them literally neck and neck. So if you want to put Ingram in front of Jaylen Brown, fine by me. Middleton right behind Brandon Ingram. I think Ingram is better than Middleton. I do. Middleton is probably a better defender and he's slightly more efficient, but I just think out of pure talent and pure skill, I think Ingram would shine way more as a number 2 role behind Giannis than Middleton. Like, Middleton's been good as a number 2 role. Don't get me wrong. We all call him underrated. Maybe he's not anymore. But I think Ingram was known like as the number 1 guy last year, and that's how defenses were preparing. Imagine him behind Giannis. Ooh. He would get so many nice mismatches as the best defender was usually guarding Ingram. Mentioned Middleton was almost 50, 40, 90, right? Or maybe he got it last year. Good defender. Great number 2. Is he the number 2 to win a championship? I don't know, but he's in this tier for me. Jamal Murray, a riser from the playoffs last year, coming in at number 34, pretty much jumping guys like De'Aaron Fox, D'Angelo Russell, John Morant, those other guards. So I have no problem really putting him at 34. And then we have Drew Holiday at 35. I think he's just been so consistent for so long on both ends of the floor. The man can guard power forwards. You watch him guard Kristaps Porzingis last year, it's crazy what he could do as a guard. He's an efficient offensive player, and I think he's just a well-rounded, complete player. And he's going to be their 3rd option this year. boy, that's why I think it was a huge pickup for the Bucks. And here is my 36 to 50 list. I didn't want to overreact on Zion and Ja's rookie year too much and put him in 26 to 35, so that's why I dropped them down to 36 to 50. But they're the top guys in there, so you could put them in 26 to 35. I wouldn't be upset, and I think they both could be top 35 guys at the end of the year. DeMar DeRozan, he's been so consistent for so long, and I know he's on San Antonio. His style of play isn't really the most exciting in the world, but you got to give him credit. He's coming in at number 39 for me, right? No, that'd be 38. D'Lo right behind him. D'Lo, not a great defender. Was on a Nets team that really wasn't the best. It would not have been a playoff team in the West, but still, he's an incredible playmaker. He's a good he's a very good offensive player. Just the only reason I don't have him a little bit higher is mainly on the defensive end. Same with CJ McCollum. He's kind of in that same category with DeRozan, Russell, and him. Great offensive players, mainly good mainly good in the half court, but just on the defensive end, really not too much and can't be number one on teams anymore. At least for DeRozan, I don't think McCollum ever was in that scenario. And D'Lo, I don't think he could be the number one on a good team at the point in his career. Domantas Sabonis was an all-star last year. Like DeRozan, you might not think his style of play is very exciting. He plays in Indiana, but he's a walking double-double. He's an okay defender. If he could space the floor a little bit more this year, he would be higher. But just since he really can't, he's kind of limited. He's coming in there at number 41. Shea coming in at 42. He broke out last year. We all expected, as he was very good as a rookie. I expect him to be probably flirting with the tier above next year. I know OKC's going to be bad, but I think Shea's going to be great. You guys know I love him if you watch the Thunder franchise. John Wall coming in right behind Shea at 43. He would normally be higher, but he hasn't played in a year and a half, so that's why I'm a little scared how he's going to do, but he's looked fine in the preseason, but I didn't want to overreact to the preseason, so I left him there. Zach Levine, you guys know I'm not the biggest Zach Levine fan. I still got to give him credit as a top 50 guy. He's similar to D'Angelo Russell. That's why I have those two players in the same tier. So pretty much everything I said about Devo, it's just I could say about Zach Levine. Draymond Green, you might not like him, but he's still great on the defensive end. He's still a great passer. He's still a good rebounder. We'll see how his shooting does this year, and with the full year of Steph, he'll have Wiggins, Wiseman, and Oubre. We'll see how he plays for them. He could be dropping out of the top 50 next year, 100%. Marcus Smart, similar to Draymond, both not great on offense. I would probably, Draymond's a better passer, but Smart's definitely a better scorer, but they're both amazing on the defensive side, and that's why I have to have Smart in top 50 for his defense. And then we have De'Aaron Fox coming in at number 46, I believe. Just kidding. That'd be 47. He's kind of similar to Jamal Murray, but what Jamal Murray, he's been on the playoff teams. Yes, it's been that he's playing with Nikola Jokic and a better team in Denver, but still, I think De'Aaron Fox is a great player. Vucevic, obviously not the most exciting player playing on the Magic, but he's been consistent for a long time. Same as LaMarcus Aldridge. Pretty much what I said about DeRozan and McCollum, you could use about Vucevic and LaMarcus Aldridge. And I still value Miles Turner's rim protecting and defense and the ability to space the floor a little bit, coming in at number 50. So he cracks the top 50. He would maybe be a little bit higher if he was just better as an inside presence, really scoring inside, maybe in the post and as a rebounder. And here are 6 guys that just missed the cut, and you could put them in 36 to 50, and I would not be upset whatsoever. And I would agree with you. It's just the talent in the NBA is just so good, so I really couldn't rank all these 56 guys in the top 50. So 6 had to miss the cut, and these were the 6. All of their own reasons. Gordon Hayward, we'll see how he could do as a number 1 in Charlotte this year. Fred VanVleet, man, it really hurt not putting him there. You could take out Turner or Vucevic, and you could put him in there. I wouldn't be upset. Lou Will, just same thing, not great on the defensive end, but a great scorer. And you can kind of compare him to Marcus Smart. One's really good on the defensive end, and then one's really good on the offensive end. But I think the difference between Marcus Smart's offense and Lou Will's offense, so Lou Will's offense, Smart's offense, is a lot smaller than Marcus Smart's defense and Lou Will's defense. Jaren Jackson Jr., hey, if he can maybe improve as a rebounder, get out of foul trouble, he'll be in top 50, 100%. Victor Oladipo, just a little nervous how his injury is going to go and how he'll play for the Pacers this year, but I could see him top 50 at the end of the year. And same with Nurkic. I'm excited to see him at full strength this year, and then he can crack the top 50. Anybody else I would put maybe in, just missed the cut, maybe John Collins, maybe DeAndre Ayton, maybe, I don't know, Dinwiddie, Schroeder. Nobody really here that I'm like, okay, I could put him in, just missed the cut. So yeah, this is my top 50 list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Making a video like this is so hard to do, so I would really appreciate dropping a thumbs up on the video. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you are interested in tier list style videos, I have my full player position rankings on the second channel. I think you probably might see power forwards by the time you're seeing this video, so all I have to do left is centers, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that is gaming for me. Thank you all for watching. Drop a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. I'm so excited for the NBA season to start. I hope you guys are as well. I'll catch y'all on the next one.